Alright, folks, we have returned. It looks like I'm gonna get to go to this next case for free. Hold your tongue. Matthew, we need you right away. We've just found Commissioner Baldwin's body. He's been murdered. Miss Holloway, tell me everything you know. Commissioner Baldwin's body was found on the docks at Crimson Banks just after dawn, and all the signs indicate foul play. So on top of the Italians launching a vendetta and the Irish stockpiling weapons under new leadership, we have the commissioner murdered under our very noses? This is unacceptable! An attack on the police commissioner is an attack on the very fabric of our society. Whether or not it's connected to the gang war, we must find the killer at once, Matthew. Right you are, sir. Come on, Matthew. We have no time to lose. We must head to the docks immediately to investigate. There he is. There we go. We will miss you, Commissioner Baldwin. Matthew, Commissioner Baldwin's skull has been split wide open. And look at his mouth. There's so much blood. Who could have imagined a man as formidable as Commissioner Baldwin would have met his end in such a terrible way? Matthew, striking at the very heart of the police cannot be allowed to go unpunished. Let's look at the clues you picked up from the crime scene. The bowler hat you found is identical to the one the Commissioner wore. I agree, it must be his. What are those strange green flakes on it? Let's scoop up a good sample. And you're right, this fancy handkerchief seems very out of place on these industrial docks. Let us see if we can match the embroidered monogram to anything in our records. Matthew, could Commissioner Baldwin's death be related to the Italo-Irish gang war? Either way, finding out who committed this heinous act must be our most pressing objective. And I better start this now, so we'll do that. And I'll get some stars, so sit tight, everyone. Okay, I have myself 9 stars. I'm also under unlimited energy happy hour. Eight energy, oh boy. Matthew, let's put these green particles you picked up from Commissioner Baldwin's hat under the microscope. I believe this is case 33. Yeah, it is. There we go. It's green paint. Matthew, those flakes you found on the victim's hat are dried paint. And it's not just any paint. This particular variety is used to make nautical vessels, such as boats and ships, more resistant to water. You're right, there's a shipyard on these docks. The paint on the commissioner's hat indicates he went there recently, which means so must we. And before we go there, I have a feeling I might know this person. Adelia Baldwin. Oh, that's gotta be his widow. Matthew, our records show that the monogram on the handkerchief belongs to an Adelia Baldwin. Wait, you're right. Adelia is the commissioner's daughter. Oh, it's his daughter. Okay. We met her in New Haven while investigating her fiancé's murder. Oh dear, I had forgotten all about Adelia. We had better impart the sad news of her father's death to the poor girl. I am also currently doing Case 29 in Pacific Bay in Elite Mode for this game. Miss Baldwin, we are very sorry to inform you that your father was murdered in the early hours of the morning. My father? Murdered? My poor daddy, Senior Trooper Matthew, how can this be? Daddy was my only support in this world. Now I'm all alone. How will I ever get through this? We will leave you to your grief, Miss Baldwin, but please do get in touch if you remember anything that might help us catch your father's killer. I hope she's not the one. I'm gonna say that right now. I hope she's not the one. Let's try to go for the first star now. A note. There we go. And I did get it. Just barely, too. Matthew, this typewritten letter reads, CB, meet me at the docks at dawn. Come alone. CB? That must stand for Commissioner Baldwin, and the fact that he was found dead on the docks just after dawn makes this note very suspicious. I agree, this note must have been sent to Baldwin by his killer, to lure him to his death. Revealing the origins of that dark stain on the paper might provide a crucial clue. Let's get a sample. Moving on, I wonder what those broken pieces once were. I'll leave them to you to fix up. And this water canteen has some letters etched on its side. See if you can work out what they spell. Let's take care of everything now. Matthew, I'm no expert on nautical equipment, but I believe that's a ship's barometer, and a rather ornate one at that. And look, CSS Horatio Rochester is embossed along the barometer. There's a vessel under construction in this shipyard. This must be its name. Wait, Horatio Rochester, that's also the head of the very influential Rochester family. This ship must belong to Horatio Rochester. Rather egocentric to name it after himself, don't you think? I've heard Mr. Rochester's rather intimidating, but I'm sure you can hold your own against him, Matthew. Let us speak to him at once. Mr. Rochester, Senior Trooper Matthew and I are from the Concordian Flying Squad, and we're investigating the murder of Commissioner Baldwin. Could you... Commissioner Baldwin has been murdered? This is Crimson Banks, not Sinner's End. It is a place of civilized commerce, and I shall not stand to see it overrun by violence and murder. We understand your concern, Mr. Rochester, and are doing everything we can to apprehend the criminal that killed Commissioner Baldwin. Indeed, we believe that shortly before his death, Commissioner Baldwin visited the shipyard where the CSS Horatio Rochester is being constructed. Does this vessel belong to you? Of course it does. I own many a ship, but I expect my namesake, the CSS Horatio Rochester, to be my crowning glory for generations to come. As for why the commissioner came to the shipyard, I do not know. It is beneath me to concern myself with the actions of the police. Now I am a busy and important man, and you have squandered enough of my precious time. Away with you. Let's get the note now. Let's send the brown substance you found on the killer's note straight to Viola. Three hours only. See what it says. E. Gilligan. This water canteen's been crudely inscribed with the name E. Gilligan. Eamon Gilligan. You're right, Matthew. We met an Irish mobster called Eamon Gilligan back in Sinner's End. So an Irish gangster was hanging around the shipyard close to where the commissioner was murdered? Eamon had better have a good explanation for why he's here. I bet that stain's gonna be a clue. Mr. Gilligan, the last time we met you were, in your own words, busting up Italian mobsters in Sinner's End. What brings you to Crimson Banks? Senior Trooper Matthew, it's a new Eamon Gilligan you see before you. I've put me gangstery ways behind me. I can't even remember the last time I got into a fight. From here on, you'll only find me doing an honest day's work. Like right now, I'm giving the shipbuilding malarkey a go. And while you've been giving shipbuilding a go, did you happen to see Commissioner Baldwin? He was murdered earlier, and we have reason to believe he visited the shipyard before he died. I ain't got nothing to do with no murder copper, Senior Trooper Matthew, and I didn't see nothing either. Nothing neither. I just been minding me own business, all innocent like. But if I do see anything suspicious, I'll be sure to let you know. I'm a reformed man, me. See you guys when these two are done. Okay, folks, we have returned. Let's get the results of the brown liquid first. Oh, Matthew, I haven't slept a wink since Charlie claims my father was not my biological parent. I've run and rerun my family samples through this DNA machine, and every test says that while I am my mother's child, I bear no relation to my father. How can this be, Matthew? Has my whole life been a lie? I know it must be very difficult, Viola, but I'm sure there's a good explanation. You should speak to your parents. Yes, I think I shall, once I'm ready. For now, I shall strive to focus on my work, and specifically the brown substance you collected from the killer's note. Simply put, the substance you sent me was coffee made from beans grown in the African Principality of Mazunda. It's quite a rare find in Concordia. Given that this coffee ended up on your killer's note, I can guarantee they have a penchant for Mazundan brew. Well, our killer will certainly be pining for their Mazundan caffeine fix when they're in prison, won't they, Matthew? And the victim's body? Matthew, it's a dark day when policemen start getting murdered, but I must say, Commissioner Baldwin's corpse is an interesting one. The cause of the commissioner's death was a blow to the skull with a curved chopping blade, a small axe or hatchet, perhaps. But if Baldwin was killed by an axe to the skull, how do you explain the bloodied state of the lower half of his face? Well, Matty, while the commissioner was not known for holding his tongue while alive, he certainly will be after his death. Because his tongue is missing. It was chopped out of his mouth. The killer chopped Baldwin's tongue out? Why on earth would they do that? That I cannot say, but the killer did leave behind a clue on the remains of Baldwin's jaw. You see, I found extract of nettle leaf. This extract is used to alleviate allergic reactions to the fumes emitted by the factories around Crimson Banks. This leads me to conclude that your killer is allergic to factory smoke, and must have deposited their medicine on Baldwin whilst rummaging for his tongue. Matthew, allergies will be the least of our killer's irritants when we put them behind bars. Matthew, I don't know about you, but I won't forget the sight of Commissioner Baldwin's mutilated corpse in a hurry. Not only did the killer crack open the commissioner's skull, but they also savagely cut out his tongue. Yes, I too am wondering what the commissioner was investigating in Crimson Banks. Could it have been something to do with the war between the Italian and Irish gangs, or is his death completely unrelated? So far, our list of suspects includes Adalia, Baldwin's grieving daughter, and Amon Gilligan, who claims his Irish thug days are behind him. And finally, there's Horatio, the head of the Rochester family. Unpleasant he may be, but he has no discernible motive for wanting the commissioner dead. Senior Trooper Matthew, this is an outrage. Commissioner Baldwin has been murdered and you are doing nothing to catch his killer. Really, how much did you smoke, Cornelius? How much did you smoke, Mayor? Sir, I can assure you we are doing all we can to put the perpetrator behind bars. All you can? What does... Oh, Mayor, how wonderful to make your acquaintance at last. Thank God, Diego. And I must say, you are looking dapper this morning. New suit, or is it the cravat? Well, I say... And I urge you to worry not a minute more about our investigation into the commissioner's death, because I know exactly where the killer went. I'll see you guys for Chapter 2. Okay, folks, we have returned. Let's start Chapter 2 of Hold Your Tongue. Case number 33.
Pacific Rim Conservation issued a statement after today's sentencing. While we are relieved to be closing this painful chapter and feel that justice has been served for our wildlife, we also recognize that any time a young person is sent to jail is a sad day. Non-profit group does research at Granite Point, and some of their equipment was damaged there as well.
You see, I happened to hear that Commissioner Baldwin's killer drinks Mazundan coffee, and I discovered exactly where they procured it. It's a cafe called the Concordian Pause, quite near the docks. I must say, their Mazundan brew is excellent. We could make an outing of it, sir. No. I have other pressing matters to attend. I shall let Senior Trooper Matthew handle this. You can trust in us, sir. Matthew, if the killer went to this cafe, then so must we.
The number one concern with the community we heard was pedestrian safety. This is following 8 pedestrian deaths last year, and so our primary concern and the primary pedestrian safety.
We supported Main Street because it is supposed to benefit everyone that uses the road. And when we saw the maps and the rendering, it wasn't like this. This is a war zone. This is ugly. Feng Shui-wise, it's bad. We don't like it because it is very offensive.
Alright.
Now, the city has plans to expand the project to other communities. Business owners are expected to propose alternative solutions at a neighborhood board meeting tonight, beginning at 7 o'clock at the Colombo Tower.
27-year-old Daniel Lee pleaded not guilty to charges of promoting
What, in
harmful
pieces?
drugs and possession of prohibited weapons today. Lee and his twin brother were arrested after a 5-hour standoff at his Kamakea Vista apartment last week. Police report several shots fired. Inside
Voila!
the 24th
3
floor
seconds.
Lee's bail is $50,000. His brother was released without charges.
Now, no major injuries after a truck crashed into 2 buildings in Kabak, Hawaii today. Police say around 1 o'clock this morning, the driver got
Matthew, it's probably still too early for customers, but this is certainly the kind of cafe that looks like it's normally heaving.
Gift shop that's on Highway.
Hello there, folks. Welcome to my cafe, Reggie Bates at your service.
Just opened a few weeks ago.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Bates. Senior Trooper Matthew and I are investigating a murder, and if you own this cafe, we'd like to have a word with you. Of course, officers, I'll be more than happy to cooperate. Thank you, Mr. Bates. Senior Trooper Matthew will shortly be around to ask you some questions. Meanwhile, Matthew, there's a delectable selection of sweet delights in that cookie jar you picked up, but I'm afraid we don't have time for a snack.
The amount of support from the community came almost immediately.
Oh, you think the jar might be hiding something? Well, you've rummaged through worse things, so go ahead and take a look inside. And I wonder why that wooden object was smashed to pieces. Let's put it back together. Matthew, I am certain these clues will lead us closer to Commissioner Baldwin's killer.
It's been a week and a day since the city launched that Biki White Shirt program.
And so far, more than 4,800 people have rented a bike. More than 11,000 tunnel rides. Most of them picked up at one of the key
Talk to Reggie first.
stops today. Waikiki, Kaka,
Senior Trooper Matthew, would you mind shutting that door behind you? We nose can't bear all that factory smoke.
to tell the program really works.
Mr. Bates, we're here because Police Commissioner Talmadge Baldwin has been murdered. Commissioner Baldwin's dead? Oh my, oh my. The commissioner used to come round all the time. You were a true gent and a generous tipper. If all my patrons were like him, I'd be able to retire today and join all me Mazundan coffee for myself. What is Concordia coming to if policemen are getting slaughtered in the streets?
Is not making sure the bike is done.
We also have reason to believe the commissioner's killer frequented your establishment. Can you think of any customers who might be holding a grudge against him?
His 40s, rescued from Kibako.
None of them and all of them. My cafe is open to everyone. Prince, pauper, Irish, Italian, I don't care who you are and what you've done. We're all concordant at the end of the day.
By paramedics.
Now there are some customers just come in. Officers, just come in, officers, so I wish you the best of luck in your investigation.
An 8-year-old girl was injured in Mapawao, treated with burns after a firework jumped out of a fire and into her shirt. Firefighters also put out 3 trash fires and 1 brush fire, all of them fireworks related. There's a live look outside tonight, another hot day across the islands. Temperatures, not the only thing heating up.
Yeah, hurricane season is getting into full swing. Island weather meteorologist
A ring.
has been tracking a developing tropical cyclone in the eastern Pacific.
What was this ornate ring doing at the bottom of the cookie jar, I wonder? And look, the ring opens up to reveal a hidden photograph. Isn't this a photo of Lucrezia Capesci, Giulietta Capesci's dead sister? If that's the case, then this ring must belong to Giulietta. The last time we saw Giulietta, she was at her home in Coyote Gorge. She ran off with her mother following her father's murder by her paramour, Seamus O'Neill. I'm sure you have a lot of questions to ask Giulietta, Matthew. We had better find her. Let's see what she has to say. Miss Capesci, why are we not surprised to find you in Crimson Banks? Your mother did swear to make the Concordia River run crimson with blood, after all.
We'll take you into a lawn and continue.
Senior Trooper Matthew, are you insinuating I'm here on gang business? Do you really expect us to believe you're not here to seek revenge on the Irish gang and Seamus O'Neill for your father's murder? Don't I have a right to seek vengeance after what the Irish did to my father? But if I am here to seek revenge, you haven't got any proof. And as for my mother's intentions, my lips are sealed. I'm done cooperating with you lot. Well then, perhaps you can tell us what you know about the murder of Police Commissioner Talmadge Baldwin. His body was found on the docks this morning. Senior Trooper Matthew, I only just arrived in Crimson Banks, so how would I know anything about any murder? Now please leave me to enjoy my cup of Mazunda's finest in peace.
The total this year now of 144 new cases on COVID. The health department expects more mumps cases because it's highly contagious. But the best way to protect yourself, stay home if you're sick and make sure you've gone out and got the MMR vaccine.
All right, this week's Civil Beat segment coming up after the break on the news at 6 tonight.
Yeah, Champ Blair joined us live in studio discussing businesses in my power along the rail corridor. Is their home if they survive construction? The Honorable Warrior went off with you, the CFL. Randy Higgin joined us live in the newsroom. Randy, looks like another solid season.
6.
Yes, they don't have to be defensively last week.
Matthew, there's some writing on this monkey statue. It says, "Hold your tongue, Baldwin." This is clearly a threat against the commissioner, and given that his tongue was cut out, you're right, this statue must have been left here by the killer. But why write the threat on a monkey? Diego has extensive cultural knowledge. Let's see if he can tell us. 12 hours, and I will get the results tomorrow morning. For now, this is Matthew. See you then. Okay, folks, we have returned, and let's get the results of the monkey statue. Matthew and Maddie, twice in one day. They failed to mention this wonderful perk when they hired me as a flying squadster. Honestly, Diego, I wish you would just redirect your passions elsewhere, such as in telling us about the monkey sculpture the killer left in the cafe. Mizaru Kikarzaru Iwazaru. Diego, if you are being lewd in a language I don't understand, I'll... Fear not, Maddie. I'm simply referring to the saying, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. It originates in Japanese folklore. And interestingly for you, the proverb is represented by 3 monkeys, one covering its ears, one its eyes, and the last its mouth. Just like the monkey sculpture we found, so the killer wanted to warn Baldwin to speak no evil? Fitting, given they later cut out his tongue. Yes, indeed, and the killer chose this token of Japanese folklore to deliver their warning. So our perpetrator knows Japanese culture. Well, this knowledge won't be much use to them in the courtroom, Matthew. Now, what do you say we head back to the scene of the murder? There may still be some clues to unearth. Oh, Eamon Gilligan's mugshot. Matthew, you found Commissioner Baldwin's briefcase. We must unlock it at once. And this is a mugshot of Eamon Gilligan. Only the police have access to these photographs, so it must have been the Commissioner who took it out of the archives. We must find out why the commissioner was interested in Amon. Perhaps uncovering the faded message on the mugshot will tell us. Okay. 17261. There we are. That'll do. Seriously, I really wish I would put that in numerical order so we don't have to go searching around. Matthew, Commissioner Baldwin's briefcase is holding just one piece of paper. How odd. It's a flyer advertising the services of a plane called the St. Cuthberga Reformatory Institution. Let's ask Evie to find out more about it. $12. The mugshot. You can never erase the past. Matthew, the faded message written on Amon Gilligan's mugshot reads, "You can never erase the past." I agree, this message feels very much like a threat. Was Commissioner Baldwin trying to threaten Amon? If so, why? Well, the Commissioner can no longer speak, but Amon still has his tongue. Let's pay him another visit. Mr. Gilligan, we found your mugshot and the message written to you by Commissioner Baldwin. What did he mean by "you can never erase the past"? I thought I'd got rid of that darned mugshot, Senior Trooper Matthew. But fine, the truth is, Baldwin didn't believe in second chances. He was threatening to tell me boss about my formerly thugging ways. If me employer found out I were once an Irish mobster, he'd have fired me. Forget buy me morning cup of Mazundan coffee. Without this job, I couldn't even afford a porridge slop. Is that why you killed Commissioner Baldwin? To stop him tattling about your past? How many times do I need to tell you I'm done with me gangstery ways, but I won't be shedding no tears for that copper neither. And I'll let the flyer run its course. See when that's done. Currently under our limited energy happy hour. Welcome back, folks. We're going to speed this up. Abby, did you discover anything about the flyer Commissioner Baldwin was carrying around? I did, and I don't like it one bit. Tell me, did you notice anything different about the Commissioner's daughter? She did seem plumper than before, but what does that have to do with the flyer? Well, the institution the flyer is advertising is home for so-called fallen women, girls who become pregnant out of wedlock. Which means Adelia must be pregnant, and her father wanted her locked up. It's just appalling. St. Cuthberga's keeps the women incarcerated until the child is born, and then forces them to give their babies up for adoption. How awful! Well, if the Commissioner wanted to lock Adelia up, she certainly had a reason to want him gone. We had better speak to her.
Is your name really Oscar
Senior Trooper Matthew, you gave me a fright. I was just reading this book of Japanese folk tales, and there are some truly hideous monsters in it. I was hoping it would distract me from my grief and my blasted allergies, but it hasn't worked. Miss Baldwin, we know that you are with child, and you found out I was pregnant? Blast! I was hoping this dress would conceal it somewhat. Yes, we did. And did you realize your father wanted to lock you up in an institution for fallen women? Oh yes, I realized. I found out I was having a baby just after my fiancée was murdered. I had hoped father would be supportive after all I'd been through. But no, he was ready to lock me up in St. Cuthbert's and throw away the key, all because I was unmarried and pregnant. It wasn't my fault my fiancée was dead. What did my father expect? For him to rise from his grave and walk me down the aisle? I completely understand your outrage, Miss Baldwin, but I hope you didn't kill your father in desperation. Me? Kill my own father? I'm pregnant, not deranged. Well, Matthew, we're still unsure what exactly Commissioner Baldwin was investigating on the docks, but it was certainly enough to make one of our suspects crack open his head and cut out his tongue. Let's start with Amon Gilligan. For all we know, he wreaked a gangster's revenge to stop the Commissioner from talking about his past. Or was a pregnant Adelia Baldwin so desperate to avoid being institutionalized that she resorted to killing her own father? Then we have Giulietta Capesci, whose family is at the heart of the Italo-Irish gang war. Her presence here is... Senior Trooper Matthew, I'm not sure what's happening, but I need you right now. What is the matter, Miss Baldwin? My stomach, it hurts so much, and there's water everywhere. Water? Miss Baldwin, I think you're having your baby. Hello. I'll see you guys for chapter 3. Okay, folks, we've returned, and let's start chapter 3 of Hold Your Tongue. Seems that Adelia is about to go into labor. Matthew, we have the serious and urgent task of solving the murder of the police commissioner. Who could have had the audacity to murder a high-ranking police officer by splitting open his skull and cutting off his tongue? Let's skip that first. Water? Miss Baldwin, I believe you have gone into labor. We must get you to the hospital right away. But I don't think I can walk. The baby, it's coming right now. Matthew, quick, we need my manmobile. Oh, Senior Trooper Matthew, isn't my baby just adorable? Just scrumptious, Miss Baldwin. I named him Paris, after my other true love. We shall make it to the City of Lights one day, won't we, my little darling? I think it's time we took our leave, Miss Baldwin. Felicitations to you and best of luck.
You're searching heaps of websites looking for the best hotel.
Matthew, I'm happy for Adelia, but I have to say, I don't think motherhood is for me. But you're right. Enough musing. Our focus must return to catching Commissioner Baldwin's killer. Matthew, we know that the Commissioner and his murderer spend time at the Concorium Pause. Let's take another good look around it. A moment, folks. Okay. Okay.
What about Mexican? His family could request an Narcan, although it's my understanding he's estranged from his own child.
Oh shit, Tim, you had to
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Real
834,200. Got the first star already. So let's do this. How did Commissioner Baldwin's badge end up discarded in the cafe? And what are these strange gray flakes all over it? Let us take a sample. And this box of chocolates contains a faded message signed C. Baldwin. The commissioner must have gifted these chocolates to someone. Uncovering the rest of the message is bound to tell us whom. And you think this torn up newspaper article looks suspect, Matthew? I trust your instincts. Let me procure the adhesive tape. Matthew, we must have let our momentum wane for even 1 second if we're to catch the commissioner's killer.
Your choice. But both my father swore that he hid the truth because he didn't. And I can tell you that in the same time with black kids and there's all
Okay. Matthew, the newspaper article you put back together concerns Commissioner Baldwin. The headline reads, Baldwin on mission to shut down all prohibition violators. But yes, the subheading is even more interesting. Concordian Paws rumored to be next target. Concordian Paws is the name of the very cafe we're in. Cafe owner Reggie Bates said he was friends with Commissioner Baldwin. But this newspaper article indicates otherwise. We had better speak to Mr. Bates right away.
Detective, Assistant Robert McFarland. You hear about Mike Mullinax? The statement exonerating him on the 4th of the years?
Oh, hello again, Senior Trooper Matthew. Can I get you anything?
It's 20 years too late.
The only thing we want from you is the truth, Mr. Bates. You told us you and Commissioner Baldwin got along well, but we know he was about to shut you down for violating the prohibition laws. Oh my, you found out about that. Look, officers, it ain't my fault the commissioner had it in for me. One day he comes in here saying his daughter's been complaining that her Mazundan coffee don't taste the same. He claimed it was because I'd been spiking it with whiskey. That no-good copper was, as the Japanese say, pulling water to his own rice paddy. He believed only what would benefit him and just wouldn't listen when I told him I weren't serving alcohol. Baldwin threatened to tell the mayor I'd have lost my license and all. Well, if he learned you killed the commissioner to cover up your prohibition violations, losing your license will be the least of your problems, Mr. Bates.
I didn't even know. He was choking me out when I grabbed the shivving staff. In self-defense, man, you gotta believe me. You gonna help me?
Your story, Charles.
Matthew, let's send the sample you scraped off the commissioner's badge straight to Viola.
Do you understand how crazy that is? Legally, there's nothing that can do something, Casey. Let's try this. Something's up there.
Okay. Matthew, the complete message Commissioner Baldwin wrote on the box of chocolates reads, Miss Capeshi, I trust these sweet delights will help sweeten your tongue. Miss Capesci, was the commissioner sending chocolates to Giulietta? What did he mean by sweeten your tongue? Let's see if Giulietta has an explanation for this strange gift and message.
Discovering who you are
I think you're pretty cool just the way you are.
is an adventure
Welcome to Spotify.
beyond words.
We're number 2. We're number 2.
The Emoji Movie, rated PG.
Alright.
Real energy. Harnessed here.
Let's see what Giulietta has to say. Achoo! Senior Trooper Matthew, got a handkerchief? Those factory fumes would be the death of me. The only remedy that works is a Japanese herbal medicine, but try finding that in Crimson Banks. Miss Capesci, one thing we did find in Crimson Banks were the chocolates Commissioner Baldwin sent you. Why was he so keen to sweeten your tongue? Because he was insane. He wanted me to snitch on the Italian gang and kept sending me little gifts to win me over. Did that man really think I'd betray my family for a box of chocolates? I'm not some insipid child he can bribe. My father's been murdered, my mother's out for blood, and the love of my life betrayed me. I'm done playing nice. So did you kill the commissioner for insulting your integrity? I haven't killed anyone, Senior Trooper Matthew, but if I ever have blood on my hands, rest assured it will be to uphold my family's honor. Alright, I'll let the Gray Flakes run its course. Maybe I'll speed that up if I want to, but we'll see. For now, this is Matthew. See you then. Alright, folks, we have returned. Let's get the results of the Gray Flakes right now. Matthew, I don't remember Commissioner Baldwin ever smoking, do you? Can't say I do, Viola. Why do you ask? Because the gray particles you collected from the Commissioner's badge are cigar ash. Cigar ash? How on earth did it get there? You're right, Matthew. We do know of one person who's constantly chomping on a cigar. Horatio Rochester. How did Mr. Rochester get close enough for the commissioner's badge to drop a cigar ash on it? We must ask
That's the
him.
Mark Twain House in Hartford, not far from us here at Southwick. Not pictured in the whitewashed fence, courtesy of Tom Sawyer. So cool history you get when you go here. Not only this house, also Springfield, the NBA Hall of Fame, not too far from us either. Here in the
Senior Trooper Matthew, what do you think of my latest acquisition for my ship? It's a painting of a wave by some Japanese chap whose name escapes me. It is not your property we're here to discuss, Mr. Rochester, but Commissioner Baldwin's. We found your cigar ash all over his badge. Why did you have it in your possession? Oh, you and your infernal questioning.
It was kind of a heartbreaker going on a man and not being able to race after getting hurt in practice. So,
If you must know, I had made an arrangement with Baldwin to speed up the paperwork for my ship. And do you know what that pompous peacock of a police officer did? Nothing! The CSS Horatio Rochester should be halfway across the Pacific by now. Instead, it's rusting away in this termite-infested shipyard. I've even developed an allergy from those blasted factory fumes through having to supervise the work in this decrepit place myself. Anyway, I had words with the commissioner at the cafe the other day. If I took his badge and tossed it away, it's no one's fault but his own.
I just want to be in the top 10 for 2 motos first, and then from there on I want to be...
Mr. Rochester, if we find your rage also led you to take the commissioner's life, your prison sentence will be no fault but your own.
And I know my speed's there, my fitness, so I'm feeling really good on the bike actually, and yeah, I think we'll get there. My goals kind of changed now since I got the first 3 out of the way. My plan was to get back into it.
Matthew, we've always known Commissioner Baldwin to be controversial, so it's no surprise he angered so many people. But it takes some grudge to murder someone and then slash out their tongue. Giulietta Capesci was certainly furious with the commissioner for insulting her integrity, while Horatio Rochester was enraged about Baldwin reneging on their agreement. Meanwhile, Reggie Bates stood to lose his cafe thanks to Baldwin's interference.
BP Racing Fuels Fuels makes fuel for the pros. It's a fact. We power more factory teams and riders to the podium than any other fuel company. But
Matthew, all eyes at Concordia are on us as we try to solve this scandalous murder. Let us return to the shipyard and search for more clues.
More power and better throttle response, and T2 is pre-mixed with oil. And say hello to C50, pre-mixed with oil and developed with Cobra, especially for 50cc mini bikes. Check out all three.
Some motocross from Southwick on in the background, so please disregard all that.
Lucas Marine Oil. The only oil fortified.
Okay.
Just like Major League Fishing, it's environmentally friendly. Lucas Oil means purpose-built, high-performance product. Meets all manufacturers' specifications also. Not running Lucas Marine Oil is like fishing a tournament without a boat. Lucas Marine Oil. It's that
Toolbox.
It doesn't matter what you're driving or where you're going. It all starts with battery temperature. Because if you can't start it, you can't use it.
Beta Motorcycles, where performance and reliability meets rideability. Beta makes it
Matthew, why did you pick up this fish bucket? It veritably pongs. Alright, if you feel we must look inside, I shall plug my nose and dive in after you. And I agree, the killer could have hidden something in this toolbox. Let's have it that lock. Matthew, just a tad more effort and we'll nab our murderer. I'm sure of it.
Start your adventure today.
It's coming. Are you ready? It's Saturday. The Kicker Arena Cross. See the nation's top pro and amateur supercross racers battle it out.
Oh my...
The Kicker Arena Cross coming.
Matthew, is that a tongue you found at the bottom of the fish bucket? This has to be the tongue the killer slashed out of Commissioner Baldwin's mouth. We must send this gruesome clue to Dick post-haste.
Right here on MAV TV. Speaking of MAV TV, plenty of motocross coming up in Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. MAV TV, you'll have coverage of our next race at Spring Creek. Always at the first two motos live on MAV TV. But if you want to watch the rest of Southwick, switch to NBC at 3:30 for our second 450 moto. And tonight, after NASCAR racing, NBC at 7 with our second 250 moto. So the pressure begins to mount as we're ready to go racing around. Martin in the lead is Faulkner and Osborne, second and third. And he goes for it. Goes like again. Now Lessinger on the attack, trying to get his teammate. But whenever Jeremy Martin thinks he can get it right,
Matthew, the toolbox contained a bloodied axe. Didn't Dick say he suspected the killer of using a small axe-like implement to crack open the commissioner's skull? Does this mean we found our murder weapon? Let us send this axe to Rose immediately.
he just lost that spot. Osborne just too good. Zach Osborne figures out a way to get it done again. And he wins Red Bud.
Hey, I'm Zach Osborne. You're watching the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship on MAV TV.
And I'll see you guys when both of these are done later tonight. See y'all then. Alright folks, we have returned, and we'll get the results of the tongue right now. Well, Matthew, a severed tongue certainly makes a change from all those fingers you've been sending me. Not that there was much doubt, but I can confirm the tongue you found was once housed in poor Commissioner Baldwin's mouth. Did you find anything on the tongue that could be linked to Baldwin's killer? Oh yes, while slicing off Baldwin's tongue, the killer left behind some white fibers. These fibers are from a material exclusively used in the manufacture of gloves. Which means your murderer's hands will be adorned with a dashing pair of white gloves. Matthew, the killer is almost within our grasp. And when we catch them, we certainly won't be handling them with kid gloves. Matthew, this is no ordinary axe you sent me. It's an adze, a tool used in shipbuilding. Well, that makes sense, seeing we found it in the shipyard. But more importantly, Rose, was this adze used to kill Commissioner Baldwin? The blood on the adze did indeed match the Commissioner's, so yes, you found your murder weapon. But that's not all. I noticed a strange white substance on the adze's handle. Viola's experiments determined it to be seagull excrement. And if the adze got stained, you can bet the killer did as well, so look out for someone tarnished with a nice splash of bird droppings. A seagull whoopsie will be the least of the killer's worries once you catch them, Matthew. And a few of them had seagull droppings on them. Irish, Italian, gangster, civilian. Matthew, whoever killed Commissioner Baldwin, we're ready to arrest him. Certainly not Adele Baldwin. It's not Horatio Rochester. It's not Eamon Gilligan. Oh boy, it's Reggie Bates. Once again, it is not Giulietta Capesci. Reggie Bates, you're under arrest for the murder of Commissioner Baldwin. Oh my, there must be some sort of misunderstanding here, Senior Trooper Matthew. I ain't no killer. So why do we find your allergy medicine on the Commissioner's mutilated face? There's practically an allergy epidemic in Crimson Banks thanks to those blasted factory fumes. That medicine could belong to anyone. And yet the Mazundan coffee from your cafe ended up on the note you used to lure the Commissioner to his death. My coffee's the best in town. Everyone drinks it. Well, not everyone wears the white gloves you forgot to remove while hacking off the Commissioner's tongue. The evidence is stacked against you, Mr. Bates, so own up. Alright, I did it. I murdered Commissioner Baldwin. I lured him to the docks in the early hours of the morning and split his head open with an adze before chopping off his tongue. Did you kill him so he wouldn't reveal your prohibition violations? Is that why you threatened him with that monkey statue and cut off his tongue? Do you really think tongues get cut out for something so small? I slashed out that copper's tongue because I saw him sniffing around the docks, spying on the Italians. What did that fool think you were doing, spying like that in the middle of a gang war? Why on earth did you care if Commissioner Baldwin was spying on the Italian gang? Because the Italians are my family. Me parents died when I were only 5. The Italian gang took pity on me and brought me up like I were one of their own. I may not be Italian by blood, but my soul bleeds red, white, and green, capiche? Baldwin thought he was so clever spying on us, so I had to protect my people. Well, your people won't be there to protect you from jail. You're under arrest. Reggie Bates, you stand before this court accused of the murder of Police Commissioner Talmadge Baldwin. How do you plead? Guilty, Your Honor, and I ain't got no regrets about it. Killing a police officer is the worst of crimes in my books, let alone doing it in such a repulsive manner. The Commissioner was simply doing his job, protecting the good people of Concordia. I had to make an example of them to all other coppers thinking of putting their big noses where they don't belong. Me and my Italian brothers will do what we want, and you ain't gonna stop us. Well, you won't be doing anything other than walking through the doors of your prison cell. Reggie Bates, I sentence you to life imprisonment with no parole. I don't give a fig what you lot do to me. My work here is done. Matthew, I commend you on putting Commissioner Baldwin's sadistic killer behind bars for good. I had known the Commissioner for many years. Granted, he was a difficult man, but he truly cared for Concordia's welfare. It is unsupportable that he became yet another victim of the Irish-Italian conflict. When will these pointless killings stop? As it's the Italians who killed the Commissioner, I suggest we focus our efforts on uncovering what they're up to, and fast. And once again, Giulietta Capesci escapes again. No gloves on her. No bird dropping on Adelia Baldwin. Horatio Rochester, not a lover of Mizundan coffee, so he was cleared early. Amon Gilligan cleared from the start. It was Reggie Bates. I'll see you guys for A Plague on Both Your Houses 3-6. Alright, we are going to start A Plague on Both Your Houses 3-6, the additional investigation for Hold Your Tongue. Case number 33 in Mysteries of the Past. He was killed by an Italian gang member, a group whose leader, Franca Capesci, still eludes us. We do, however, know the whereabouts of her daughter, Giulietta. Matthew, looking further into Miss Capesci will allow us to uncover more about the gang's activities. We're honest, sir. Giulietta's been frequenting the cafe on the docks recently, so Matthew and I shall start our investigation there. See that you do right away. Apologies for the interruption, sir, but Horatio Rochester is here. He doesn't seem best pleased and is demanding to have a word with Matthew right away. Matthew, you cannot keep a man of Mr. Rochester's stature waiting. You had better go with Isaac to speak to him post-haste. And once you're done talking to Mr. Rochester, you can join Madeline at that cafe to look into Giulietta Capesci. Senior Trooper Matthew, just how much longer were you planning on keeping me waiting? Apologies, Mr. Rochester. Senior Trooper Matthew and I came as soon as we could. How can we help? I'm here to lodge a complaint. I've noticed all manner of ne'er-do-wells congregating in my shipyard. They've even had the audacity to use the CSS Horatio Rochester's highly expensive telegraph machine to contact other miscreants. Miscreants have been sending messages from your shipyard? Could they be involved with one of the gangs? I neither know nor care. I just want to stop to this unsavory situation and therefore require your urgent assistance. Certainly, sir. We shall take a look around the shipyard right away. See that you do. And here, take these shillings to speed up your investigations. Speed up your investigation. 20,000. Thank you very much. It's 2 now. Gone back to the cat so I can upgrade level, so I can up a level up faster. Okay. Matthew, this box might well be holding the telegraph machine Mr. Rochester was talking about. Let us open it and hope it can assist our investigation into the gangs. There we are. Matthew, this box contains the telegraph machine those ne'er-do-wells in Horatio's shipyard were using to send messages. If this contraption holds any secrets, Charlie's sure to reveal them. 6 hours. And the Concordian pause. There we are. Matthew, what a strange dark rose, and it was sent to Giulietta. You're right, we had better decipher the coded message on the tag to see what this rose is all about. Okay. Easy 1, 2, 3. There we are. There we are. 8. Great job, Matthew. Let's get these numbers to Evie. And that's where I'm going to make my leave for now. Until these two are finished. I'll see y'all then. Folks, we've returned. Let's get the results of the telegraph machine first. Matthew, the wonders of technology never cease to amaze. At this rate, we'll have a man on the moon before we know it. A man on the moon? It seems Maddie's penchant for jesting is rubbing off on you, Charlie. Now, I assume your current awe of technology was prompted by the telegraph machine Matthew found in the shipyard? Indeed it is. You see, a conventional telegraph machine allows you to simply transmit messages from one person to another using Morse code. This machine, however, also keeps a record of any messages that were sent out from it. Just ingenious. And guess what the very last message said? Baldwin knows the plan. I'll keep him quiet. Keep him quiet? Matthew, this message must have been transmitted by Reggie Bates to his fellow Italian gang members. Which means he didn't just kill Baldwin because he was spying on the gang, but because he had found out exactly what the Italians were planning. Matthew, this warrants another conversation with Mr. Bates. I agree. Oh, the numbers are from Evie, but first of all, I'm not going to get the results from that yet. I'm going to talk to Reggie first. Oh my, look who's here. Missing me already, Senior Trooper Matthew? Mr. Bates, we found the message you transmitted to the Italian gang. We know you killed Commissioner Baldwin because he figured out your plans. So tell us, what exactly did the Commissioner find out? What are you and your collaborators plotting? Ha! You won't get me to snitch on me compadres for all the gold in Concordia. And don't think you'll get anything from that dead copper neither, because I threw all his notes into the river by the docks. There'll be naught but fish food right now. By now. Here, feel free to drown your sorrows in me prison slop, and don't forget to close the door on your way out. Gee, thanks. So Reggie got rid of all Commissioner Baldwin's notes at the docks? At the docks. This is why his briefcase was practically empty when we found it. You're right, Matthew. We better head to the docks and see if there's anything we can salvage. At this point, I don't really care anymore. Matthew, this clump of seaweed that's washed up may well have caught something among its tendrils. I agree. Let's pick through it. Nine of them. Matthew, you found a police notebook amidst the algae. This must be part of Baldwin's notes that Bates threw into the river. I fear most of the notebook has been destroyed by the water, but let's see if we can recover any information using your dusting kit. Matthew, the commissioner wrote, heard Bates talking about new weapons. Gang intends to rob police. It continues, they're going to attack the weapons armory at Tarnation. The rest of the information has been torn off. Matthew, if the Italians are about to rob a police weapons armory, we must stop them. But how do we know which police station Commissioner Baldwin was talking about? There are several in Crimson Banks alone. You're right, we mustn't panic. I'll debrief our findings to the team, and I'll see you back on the airship, Matthew. Now let's talk to Evie. Matthew, this rose is just so tragically romantic. How so, Evie? You see, I worked out that the numbers you deciphered refer to an act, scene, and line in Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare's legendary tale of two star-crossed lovers. The pertinent line is, "Go hence to have more talk of these sad things. Some shall be pardoned, and some punished." Evie, isn't that line more to do with sadness and punishment than love? Well, whoever sent Giulietta this rose clearly loves her and wants to beg her forgiveness for something terrible they've done. In that case, there's only one person who could have sent this rose to Giulietta, her estranged beau, Seamus O'Neill. Seamus is clearly still reeling from killing Giulietta's father, and this rose shows he's contacted her since breaking out of jail. But how does this square with Seamus being the new leader of the Irish gang? We must speak with Giulietta post-haste. Giulietta, we found the rose Seamus sent you. How long have you been back in touch? What? Do you really think I'd talk to Seamus after all he's done? I don't give two hoots about that fool's cryptic pseudo-romantic gestures. That Irish thug professed love to me and then killed my father. Nothing he can do or say will make me forgive him for what he did. Nothing! Is that why you're going along with your mother's bloody plans? It's not too late to get away from all this violence, Giulietta. It's way too late, Matthew. Life will beat you up every chance it gets. Here, take this so you never forget it. So, Matthew, what did you find out about the Italian gang's next move in Crimson Banks? Well, sir, we discovered that Seamus O'Neill is trying to make amends and that Giulietta Capesci is having none of it. Miss O'Malley, I asked for results, not idle gossip. The mayor is breathing down my neck for answers. Sir, Matthew and I found Commissioner Baldwin's notes, and we know the Italians are about to attack a police weapons armory. I consulted Rose, who told me that the only armory currently full of weapons is the one at the Elm Street police station. We must go there at once. Excellent work, Matthew. I shall alert the station immediately and we... Matthew, come quick! What on earth is it, Miss Holloway? We've got an urgent matter to attend to. That's just it. We're too late. The weapons armory, it's been attacked. Oh, goodness. Now, I'm not going to be revealing the sticker packs this time because I am doing a case in Elite Mode. Case 29 in Pacific Bay. July 12th is when this case will be revealed, so that'll be a Wednesday. As a matter of fact... Oh good, I can actually reveal these sticker packs first. So never mind what I said. Two new ones only. But I'm gonna stop here now. And I'll see you guys for the next case.